Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Welcome to Facts and Two Cents. Happy Sunday, wherever you are in the world. Um, Hope your wherever you are is bright and sunshiny, as I always want to have. But in New York, if you're in New York, sorry. We are having a lot of rain. So yesterday was mostly all rain, and today is all rain again. And so we're getting drenched. So hopefully it's better where you are, especially if you're in California. I'm sure your weather out there is fantastic. So, and wherever else you are in the world, hope it's a lot better than New York. But anyways, welcome, guys, to the podcast. What is going on? Let's just say hello to my friends for a second in the chat. Hello, my friends. How you do? How you doing? Hello, Connie Balmer, hanging out with us from Switzerland. Hello, Connie. And Lydia. Hello, Lydia. How are you doing? Um, Nalu Thandu hanging out with us from South Africa. Hello, Nalu Thandu, and all our fabulous squaddies out there in South Africa. Fancy is here, and Wendy is here. Hello, Wendy and Kim and Ann and Black Queen, our awesome moderator, is here, and Leslie F hanging out with us from Florida. And let's see, Amaka is here, and Dee is here, Amadeus is here. Hello, guys. We'll say hello to all of our other amazing friends as we go along. So, oh my goodness, what is happening? It's so funny. We had such an incredible end of August, September so far with our faves, and we thought, well, with the Invictus games ending, at least I was thinking anyway, that we're not going to hear from them in a while. They're under their tree in Montecito, relaxing, hanging out. We're not going to see them probably until November or something. If we're lucky. That's what I was thinking. Frankly, I don't mind. You know what I mean? It's like you stay under your tree, do your thing, and we'll see you when you're ready for us to see you. I'm totally cool with that. As long as they're happy, that's all I want for them. And then, of course, yesterday, and I posted a little video of this yesterday, and I'm sure you've seen all the pictures all over the place. I didn't check in on Baron and Duchess of Success yesterday, but I'm sure if they were on, and they're usually on every day, especially Baron, you would have seen these as well. So, but it's so exciting and so wonderful to see them out. I think this was the part that really, really was special for me, to see them out in their community and to see them embraced by their community and hanging out and chatting. And and I'm not just talking about, the famous ones or the popular ones, but just the regular folks who were a part of the concert slash festival slash fundraiser that they were doing for the first responders. I just thought it was just wonderful. And I'm like, and of course they were guests of honor or VIP guests per se, and they were handing out awards. And I just was like, oh, our faves. It was just so wonderful to see them. And, although I want them to hang out under their tree, I think being out like this and really, I have two minds about this. One, I want them, away from the press, and the press doesn't have, all that's, just seeing them all the time or whatever. But on the other side, I'm thinking about it as well. It's like, you know what, if you see them a lot, then it takes away the quote unquote specialness, and it takes away the amount that photographs are going to be worth. So there's not going to be that big as much scramble. Oh my gosh, Harry and Meghan, so let's charge like $1 million for the photos, and then everybody's, you know what I mean? And it'll take away. So the more and more they're out in their community and it becomes just a normal thing, then the whole scramble for them every time is kind of like devouring them, is going to go away. And so it just, and again, I'm of two minds about these things. I just want the press to go away, and then they could just have their freedom. But also too, it's like, being out and about, being among your people, that's their community. They're not moving, they're not going anywhere. And, and just having fun and living your life freely. And, it's like, okay, you want to take a picture, take a picture. I don't care. I'm just going to live my life, And so I I love that as well for them. And so this is what kind of the feelings I had yesterday when I saw this. And it just, it's really really wonderful. And I think one of, it's so funny, I was back when the whole thing, I don't know if you guys remember the whole thing with Twilight and then Kristen Stewart and the whole drama that happened with her director and all of that stuff. They were destroying this girl, and I felt, as a young girl, I mean, I don't really know anything about Kristen Stewart, but she seemed like a really, wonderful girl who just, she made a mistake, and then the press just devoured this girl. And then she got to a point there where she's like, you know what, I don't care, I'm just gonna live my life, you write what you want. It's like, I don't apologize for anything, I made a mistake, and I'm not going to sit here and basically apologizing for it for the rest of my life. I'm just going to live my life. And the moment she made that decision and just did what she did out in public, not care, it's like the press sort of went away. Not that they went away, but it was all of a sudden, there wasn't this like, oh my gosh, I'm going to, whatever I write is going to destroy her. And it was very interesting watching that whole drama play out for a bit there. And I haven't kept up with Kristen. I don't know, where she is. I'm assuming she's definitely older now. And, I'm assuming her life is fine. But it was just whole, like, and that's kind of the way I see, especially with Meghan. You know what I mean? Is there's this whole, like, eating her every time they see her, to like to devour. And I just, maybe if now is like, you know what, I'm just going to go out, be among my people, do what I need to do. You do what you need to do. And, whatever. And so that's also a freedom too. So whichever path they choose to take, I'm with them. But I was just really happy to see just to see their joy yesterday and see the people around them and all the fun they seem to be having. And well, I mean, this happened Friday, 2 days ago, but we got the photos obviously yesterday. Yes, early yesterday, or late, whenever it was. I got it very, very early in the morning. But one of the things also too is with them hanging out with Oprah. I know after the Oprah interview, and maybe a year went by, whatever, there was this narrative, and of course only the British press will come up with these stupid narratives, of course. But a lot of people seem to have believed it, that somehow Harry and Meghan and Oprah, that Oprah basically kicked them to the curb and all. I mean, it was stupid, yes, but for some reason, as usual, the British press writes something and people tend to believe it. And it's like, so it was just like, I think I don't know if I'd seen it before, but I think since that time, this is the first time I've seen them publicly together. I don't know, maybe I missed the time or not, but these photos, and actually there was this video, which I'm also going to link in our our show notes, is it was actually the 3 photos on the side is from a video where it's Harry, Meghan, Oprah, Ellen, and Portia. They're all sitting around laughing and talking with each other, and it's just like, and also too, it just, again, if you're one that's prone to believe the nonsense in the British press, I hope you're looking at this and thinking, okay, they're playing me for a fool. I mean, are these people who listen to the British press, I mean, do they have the awareness and self-awareness to realize, like, when they are being played for fools? And so it's kind of like, if you've been believing the whole stupid narrative about how they're no longer friends with Oprah and she kicked them to the curb and all this nonsense, I mean, you must feel really stupid looking at a video of them laughing and talking and, and it's just like, yeah, they're friends and they're in the same community and they hang out, and I mean, and so it just but it's been really funny to see how all the British press narrative that they've been trumpeting for all how many months now just sort of blow up in their faces. It's just been wonderful to see. And again, I hope that there's no one in the squad that this is a surprise to. I hope there's no one in the squad that has been believing the nonsense of the British press. But I just, this whole thing, obviously, the festival thing was held at Kevin Costner's ranch. There's a massive ranch where it's so funny because he's been going through this very public divorce. And I always get sad when I hear, people are getting divorced, and it's traumatic for anybody. And so it's obviously if there's abuse and stuff in a relationship, you want the person out of that relationship. But in in all of these situations, it's like, I always think people go into marriage and you go into it with the best of intention to stay together, and you go into it with such love, and it always breaks my heart when people are getting divorced and just a relationship is being broken. And it just, I don't know, I, as Meghan always says, I love love. I just do. And I love when people are in love. And for me, I don't care. I just love when, two people come together and they're in. So it always breaks my heart. So it's always like a little jarring for me when I come across news. It seems like, especially some news outlets, that their whole business model is either to try to break up relationships or to revel in people's breakups or breakup of their marriages or whatever. They tout all these conspiracies about people's marriages, and it's just like, oh my gosh. And so even with, I know there was a lot of drama that went on with Kevin Costner and his wife, and I think they're now divorced and she has now moved out and all of that stuff. It was just sad, it was just sad, and a testament to him that he allowed the concert festival thing to still happen at his home, because I think they just finalized it last week. And so to see him there, and reaching out to people and allowing, and for me, I'm thinking in those times, that's the times you want to run away from people and build up walls around yourself. And it's so funny that he mentioned in his speech about, not building walls around or fencing around his property, but allowing people to come and enjoy themselves. And I think personally too, when you're going through stuff like that, I can imagine wanting to put up walls around you to protect yourself. And kudos to him for, staying open and allowing people to come and, talking to people and greeting people. And it's, I just think it's a testament to them. So I'm like, again, I always get sad when relationships break up for whatever reason. I mean, sometimes it needs to, but it's always a sadness for me. And so, as in friendships, or whether it's romantic relationships or not, it's always very sad. So, and again, please, especially with the British press and stuff, please stay away from sites like this that are just always trying to break people up or always trying to predict people's relationships. It's crazy. But it's just really, for me, it's just wonderful to see them all together in photo, in video, that they're all just happy to see each other and bond together and have a great time in the community. And again, this was a community event. It was a Santa Barbara, what is called 1805. I think 805 is the area code, I think. 805 Live, and it was a event, really a fundraiser for Santa Barbara first responders, whether it's police, whether it's fire department, and other first responders around, who are just helping to feed the poor and all of those things. We'll talk about one of them in a second. I just think it's fantastic. I just really, really, really love the community that they have, and that there's so much love and positivity. I was like, you go, Harry and Meghan, y'all picked the perfect place to live and to be, to just the people to be around. So I just think I just really, really enjoyed that. And I just love these photos. I was just like, look at them, look at Harry up there. I was just like, you go, Harry. And I'm feeling Harry's outfit too. It's got a little bit similar to what he had at The Hague. And somebody mentioned that Harry probably saw all our comments that loving his all black outfit. And so he's like, well, here we go. I don't know if that's true or not, but I mean, you go, Harry. I absolutely love it. And the picture in the bottom, obviously, that's part of Kevin Costner's ranch. That's where they were, by the beach there. From the videos and stuff, obviously, because it's close, you couldn't really see. But there was a news outlet in California reporting on the concert, and they showed an aerial view of Kevin's place is right by the beach. And so they had a great old time. And Maya Nicole says, who's that lady in the picture in the red circle? Well, think about it. If say for example, you just happen upon like Kevin Costner talking to Harry and Meghan speaking to Adam, Adam is one. We'll talk about Adam in a second. Who do you think would be trying to snoop and trying to figure out what's going on in there? I just thought, I'm like, that lady that represents all of us in the squad. I'm like, she is all of us. Definitely me. And I was just like, yep. If a squatty was right there, yeah. Helen said the squad, the lady in this red circle looks like a deranger. I have no idea who she is. I don't know. I saw the picture and I saw her there, and I was like, man, if I walked by and I saw that, yep, that probably would be me. And I was like, that might be every squatty. We'd be like, what are you saying over there? Is that Harry? Is that Meghan? Could be an arranger. I have no idea. I have no idea who these people are, other than the ones that they have talked about. But Black Queen. Oh wait, Black Queen says Karen. I was like, no, that's not what it means. Black Queen. I was thinking it was one of us. At least, maybe I shouldn't have said that. That would be me. That would be me. Because I'm nosy like that. So, but it's just, it's so funny you guys mentioned deranged, because one of the things that apparently, well, yeah, I was literally going to be saying that right now. It says, Annie says, I'm sure the derangers are having a meltdown after seeing these photos. And apparently they were having one because they, on stage, Harry presented the award to Kevin. And they, in their mind, there wasn't much of an exchange. So therefore, Kevin doesn't like Harry, and therefore he ignored Harry and all of that stuff. And I guess they didn't really realize that Harry and Kevin and those guys and Adam and Meghan, they were all literally backstage before they came on stage. And the photo at the bottom is from a video of them backstage. And again, I tend to not post videos sometimes on here because I don't know what's copyrighted and what's not. So I like the photos, so this photo suffice. And so right before they went on stage to present the awards, this is what they were doing. They were right on the side of the stage. It's like a pen area for VIPs, and that's where they were chatting right before they went on stage to receive their awards, or for the Sussexes to give their awards. And when Sussexes were introduced to stage, that's where they came from. So this is what was happening before they got on stage, And so apparently, and that's the reason I have all these people blocked, because I'm like, this is kind of nonsense. Squatties will screenshot and post it on again with those screenshots. But apparently they are having a meltdown or at least they were. Maybe now that they've seen the video of Harry and photos of Harry, Meghan, Kevin, and Adam all talking backstage, they'll now understand, like, oh wait, maybe maybe they do know each other after all. Maybe Kevin wasn't actually ignoring them after all. It's so ridiculous how these people would just, I don't understand their minds. I don't understand how you could be that stupid. I don't understand it. I'm like, Harry and Meghan are VIPs, and Kevin, you think Kevin don't know them, and I would have invited them to come to his home. I don't even understand those things. I don't even understand how you can have those thoughts and then not only have them, but put it out in the world to show the world how stupid you are. I don't get it. So anyways, enough about them and their nonsense. So, and then there are these photos, and I'm like, wow, these are just so cool. And of course, these are some of the photos of Harry and Meghan and Kevin McKagan is his last name. And so this is the heart is like the little plaque or little thing, that trophy thing that they have. And at first I was like, what is that thing? It looks like a cup. But then this is a photo of it. Actually, Adam, I didn't know anything about it. I was like, who is that? I thought he was maybe an actor or something. I'd never seen him before. Obviously, I know Kevin is. But so I went on his Instagram and found who he is. And so his name is Adam McKagan. And so he is the one, along with Kevin and other people actually, which they didn't have photos of. But receive, at least he received the Heart of the Community Award, and that's the what the little heart there. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, seeing it up close, seeing what exactly it is. And so, and some of these photos are some of his that was on his Instagram, like the middle one at the top and the last one on the bottom right, and and the one right above it as well, that he had posted those in his Instagram. And so he was just really a good guy. He is a real estate agent. He's also just like a Santa Barbara native that just loves Santa Barbara. It's like he literally has on his bio that the only time he's ever been away, like, lived away from Santa Barbara is when he was going to college. And from the, born and raised there, lived there, his kids are there, or at least he had raised his kids there. And I mean, everything, he is all about that community. And so he is, turns out he is, apart from a real estate agent, and he is a really cool guy. He has what's called Adam's Angels, and they are just go off, and I think they have like a Facebook page. I was trying to find it, go on Facebook, and then I couldn't figure out my password because I haven't used Facebook in such a long time. And so I was like, oh, never mind. Like, not even bothering. And so, but this is what it is. And I just found a couple of these on his Instagram. It says, we dropped off non-perishable bags of food and warm jackets to Shower of Blessing in Isla Vista, or Isla Vista, I guess it's called, and brought food to the YMCA Haley Navigation Center. They help transition kids 18 to 24 from foster care to a productive life. Adam's Angels is so happy to help make this pivotal age a little less stressful. So they are bringing food and stuff to these centers. And then this is another one. It says Adam Angels at the Navigation Center in Cabrillo on this Tuesday, giving out 100 bags of non-perishable food. Angel Michael Bishop, that's him on the side there, changing out batteries and performing repairs for our guests who live in their cars. And I just thought it was so fantastic because, we've talked on here, I think, before about, especially California, it is so, the homelessness, New York as well, California is, the homeless situation there is just so bad. And a lot of people now live in their cars, and including people who have jobs. I remember mentioning this on here. Like, there are people who are, for example, in the film community in LA who work for film studios and are living in their cars because they cannot afford the rent. And so I just thought it was really cool that he was basically people who live in their cars, they were changing out their batteries and performing repairs. And it was just like, oh, wow. That is just so cool to be able to, because you think, okay, someone either living in a car. I'm not talking about the van life people who choose this life. There are people who are literally living in their cars because they cannot afford the rent. They have no place else to live but in their cars. And so it never even occurred to me that this, as a service to render. And so they were, changing out people's batteries and performing repairs on people's cars, which is neat. If you live in your car, it'll break down eventually, and it's expensive to fix, and so I just thought it was really, really fantastic. And so, from looking at some of the things he's done, there's just a couple that I pulled in, but I could understand why he received the Heart of the Heart of the City Award. Kudos to him, and for what they did. I just thought that was really, really wonderful. And again, I'd never heard of him before, obviously. But and I saw Meghan talking, they were talking for quite a bit. And I was like, yeah, I could see Meghan and Harry working with him in the future. And for, because again, this is what they're about. They're about giving back and really building community and really being a part of community. And that's why I think for me, when I saw them out there, and then they had, like, even while they were in the pen, or the VIP area, it's called the pen, but the VIP area, they were like meeting all these people who were there, just saying hi to them and getting to know them in the community. And I just was like, yes, 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 yes. And just to see how welcoming everybody were and the applause they got when they came on, when they were introduced on stage. And I love that. I absolutely love that. So again, I mean, I could totally see them working together in the future. I could totally see it. And so I'll be looking out for Adam McCraig. Yeah. And don't be surprised when, knowing that he's a real estate agent, you start hearing, oh, Harry and Meghan are moving because they're friends with a real estate agent. Expect that from the Daily Mail or the Sun. Expect that narrative. So it just is what they do. So anyways, but I just thought it was fantastic. And then there is this. Why are we like this? Why are squatties like this? I was gonna move my little scrolly thing at my banner at the bottom there so we could read there. And again, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe and click the notification bell so you know when we drop a video. But why do we do this sometimes? Why are squatties like this? And it's hilarious. But so there was this beautiful picture of Harry and Meghan and this priest, Larry Gosling. And Larry Gosling is again, like Adam, really prominent in the community in serving. And he's just really a community, Santa Barbara community guy, reverend, pastor, priest, whatever he is, man of the cloth. And so it's like and again, he is well known. He's like a staple in the community. And so at this event, I mean, he had pictures of Harry and Meghan, with Kevin, with Oprah, with Ellen and Portia. I mean, he had pictures with everybody. And so what happens? The picture comes online. And as you can see in the one with the red circle, someone in the squad decided to Photoshop the priest out of the picture. And I saw the picture. I was like, wait a minute, where's the priest? And so every squatty is that. So which is what I thought when I first saw it. And I didn't say anything. Then squatty started noticing, like, wait a minute, somebody photoshopped the priest out. And so, I mean, a little bit about the priest before we even get to that. He says, attending the amazing gala. This is what he posted, Larry Gosling. He said, attending the amazing gala of the 805 Live concert fundraiser to help, to support our local communities, first responders, having the great privilege and joy of sharing time with Prince Harry and Duchess of Sussex Meghan, who are part of our local community. And I love that. He's like, they're part of our local community. And I was like, see, he owns them, But then our squatties are gonna come out and Photoshop our wonderful priest who claims our faves. And so, of course, some squatties are not having it, including myself. I didn't even put my post up. But then we saw Sherelle, she's like, whoever removed the priest is going to hell. And so squatties are all chiming in from all over the place. It's like, and so these are just a few. And, of course, it's a big, everybody's laughing about it. And, it's basically not in fun, but still, as Sherelle says, whoever removed the priest is going to hell. Max Prince is like, y'all squatties really not scared to crop the poor priest out? Jesus, please forgive my people. Cito Emma says, why? Please don't do this. Forgive the person who deleted the priest. It's a sin, child. Henrietta chimes in, Father, forgive, I have sinned. And, Father, God says, what have you done, my child? And Henrietta responds, I erased the priest from the group photo. And it's just, and it goes on and on. So it's like a big, fun thing that they're doing on Twitter. But it's just like, leave it to squatties to come up with this. And then do a really bad Photoshop job too. Like erasing, deleting, Photoshopping the priest out. Yeah. And he's like, the shame. The priest looks so happy between them. He does. They all look happy. And someone had the nerve, gall, and audacity to Photoshop out the priest. I love us. Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. know. Kenita's like, "Ooh, I think that was awful thing to do." I was like, whoever did that, shame for shame, but it's just as funny. It was just so funny that everybody is like, oh no, I can't believe they photoshopped the priest out. And he does look so happy and content between them. It's like, leave the priest alone. He's having fun. So, anyways, and Donna Black says it's so wonderful how well the Sussexes have integrated into their community and are respected and adored. And yes, 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 this is what I saw too, and I loved it. They just love having them there. They love it that they're there and a part of the community. And the Sussexes, I mean, they're so down to earth and just humble. I mean, that's what people appreciate. So yeah. So I love it. I feel the same way. Church Nelly is like, that priest is not one of our faves. Oh, okay. It's just like, but look, he embraced them. They are happy. I mean, it's, again, he's one of the staples in the community that's, really giving and serving and stuff. So what's not to love? What's not to love the priest, no matter what you think of priests or whatever, whatever it is. By the way, Church Nelly, did somebody take away your moonshine again? Is that what? It's like Church Nelly's like, that priest is not one of our faves. Somebody took your moonshine away, didn't they? I think I have to believe that. But yeah. TBTV says, I'm no longer religious, but judge. Don't know the purpose of photoshopping, but the person put them closer together. Yeah, it's like they wanted to pretend or fake like the photo is just Harry and Meghan in there, and then just did a whole bad photoshopping job because they leave the priest robe right in the middle there, because there was like, who did this photoshopping? There's an erase button. You could just erase the. Never mind. I'm not giving away any photoshopping, thing. But anyways, she's still trying to become Nacho's masseuse. I'm sorry, honey. I'm sorry. I know it's hard. But it's okay. You'll be okay. But I just love it. And of course, this is Harry and Meghan with two people at the top. I don't know who those people are, with Kevin. And then this is actually this girl in the middle there. She's like a cafe owner, Alicia Gur, I guess her last name is. Apparently the Sussexes have tried her. I don't know if it meant like she had maybe a stand at the festival concert thing and they tried it there. But apparently, according to I think it was a friend of hers or whatever, posted on Instagram that that Harry and Meghan loved her pastries and whatever else she has in her cafe. So so that's them at the bottom there. The top people, I don't know who they are, but sharp-eyed squatties, a photo on the right, sharp-eyed squatties. I don't know how we pick these things out. Again, as not a fashion person, I would never, ever, ever would have noticed or come up with this, but sharp-eyed squatties lighten this photo. If you remember the video that of Ellen's birthday, when they had a video and her and Paula kind of renewed their vows and Harry and Meghan were there, and so part of that video that Ellen posted was, they were panning the camera, and so we had a blurry vision of Meghan among all these women at Ellen's house that day, and they caught a photo of Meghan right there in the middle, and it looks like she's wearing the same poncho thing that she's wearing, cape thing that she wore yesterday. And the more I look at it, I'm like, yeah, it looks like the same outfit. And again, sharp-eyed squatties, I would have never picked that. Never come up with that. But yeah, it looked like the same outfit. And it's so funny. Her hair looks the same too. Like all back in one bun as she had it yesterday. So see, like Meghan's peeps, they all have seen this outfit before. And I mean, I don't know what she's wearing, pants or whatever. But it's cool to see. It's like, so it's not new. It's just, we just hadn't seen it before or spot it before. Now that someone has picked it up and realized like, oh wait, it's the same outfit, at least the same top. So anyway, so for you fashion squatties, there you go. I just think it's fantastic. But again, I absolutely love that they were able to spend time in their community and do that. I hope to see more of it. Oh, Terry says yes, it's the same poncho. There you go. Terry knows. Thank you, Terry. Trish Nelly says, goodness, but Squad has X-ray vision. I'm telling you, they, especially some of them with fashion, they can just pick things out and like in a minute tell you what the designer is, where you can find it, and usually it's all, you know, it's all sold out or not in the store anymore or whatever. And so it's just like amazing. So I don't know how they do it, but it's yeah, it's like, for me, it's like a total mystery. You know, again, I'm not into fashion, so my eye would never ever pick that up. So if it's something with video and stuff like that, I would pick it up. Fashion, no, I don't. But what else is happening? Let's see. This, I mean, I don't know if you guys, obviously, if you've watched the Heart of Invictus, you will remember this. This is Daryl from the Heart of Invictus, Daryl Ling. And so Daryl, if you remember his story, that he suffered, I mean, you know, he's a vet and suffers with anxiety, especially being among people. And it's, you know, especially large group of people. And if you remember it, if you haven't seen Heart of Invictus, close your ear for like a second. If you remember him, like, you know, I think it was going out for whether, I think it was rowing, when he was just having a hard time because he had to go out there in front of people. And so the coach had to be with him to help him to sort of calm him down. And then he went out and then came back, and, you know, obviously he was fine. But it's the anxiety of going out. And so the coach, who was a yoga coach and therapist, who was with him, coaching him through and helped him through, did an interview recently, and it came out during the games, and I kept meaning to talk about it, and I think I forgot about it. And so I saw it again, and I was like, oh, okay, we can talk about Daryl. Of course, that's a photo of Daryl. I mean, compared to the Daryl in, you know, the state he was in as they were filming, and him going through the process of learning how to be calm and be able to do the you know, the different sports events that he chose. Just looking at this picture with him and Harry, it looks like a whole different person. It's like amazing. I was just like, that's Daryl. He just looked like a whole different person. So so this is a little bit from the article, or at least from the interview. So there was an article by Global News Brunswick, and this, of course, they're in Canada. They interviewed well, she did an interview, and so they wrote the story about it. It says a Halifax yoga therapist who is receiving international recognition for her work after appearing in a new Netflix series produced by Prince Harry. And she also talked about, you know, Prince Harry. She's like, Prince Harry's a sweet guy. He sat down with us for a Team Canada breakfast. She also apparently on her website said Meghan was also part of that breakfast. So she had a really good time there. But she talked a little bit about how it came to be that Daryl was you know, in the Heart of Invictus. And give me 1 second, I'm just gonna read this for a second. I realized I was looking at the wrong thing. So it says Halifax yoga therapist is buzzing with excitement after receiving international recognition for her work during an appearance in the new Prince Harry produced Netflix docuseries Heart of Invictus. Kaylin Naden, or Nadine, who was featured in the August release, is a trauma-informed yoga therapist who specializes in somatic practice, an approach designed to restore calm to the nervous system by identifying the physical sensations related to traumatic events. And says during her interview with Global News this morning on Tuesday, Nadine said that the opportunity presented itself after her longtime client Daryl Ling was chosen by Team Canada to compete in the 2022 Invictus Games, which is an international sporting competition designed to offer a recovery pathway for wounded, injured, and sick service personnel. I was asked to go along for the ride as the anxiety coach, Nadine says. She said that upon arrival, Ling was chosen to be in a Netflix series documenting the journey of 6 competing athletes, which was filmed during the week-long event in the Netherlands. And she also said about Daryl, said determined to get back put his life back together, he reached out to other veterans in Canada with whom he was able to build meaningful bonds. Ling's pathway to recovery eventually led him to the Invictus Games, where he competed in the wheelchair basketball, archery, and indoor rowing. Nadine said, observing those veterans overcome certain challenges to experience athletic success continues to give her an inspirational, heartfelt, warm, amazing feeling. And she's saying about the athletes, says there's just nothing that stops these people. It really gives you a sense of, okay, wait, they can do anything. And so she says one of her main tasks during the time across the pond was to help Daryl to overcome certain anxieties related to larger crowds or being in a crowd. And so one of the things it also talks about, Daryl's, oh, hang on one second. It also talked about his specific injury. And I think one of the things that was very incredible and interesting with Daryl is just how, how he was able to, at the end of all of this, be able to, his whole thing was, now that I'm getting help, I want to be able to help someone. And we remember him, he's making like the woodwork thing that he gave something to Harry. But one of the thing with him about his trauma, it says, according to a recovery story detailed on the competition's website, Daryl was diagnosed with complex post-traumatic stress and major depression disorder due to his involvement in various military responses, including Swiss Air Flight 111 crash and the 2010 Haiti earthquake. So apart from, his military service, so these are some of the traumas that he had and that he was trying to overcome, and having complex post-traumatic disorder. And we saw it was so evident as throughout the his story in the heart of Invictus. And it was just so amazing to see how he, as even though a lot of it he wants to be alone, and he obviously had the issue with substance, drinking and all of that stuff, is to see him come out at the other end where it's like, he is getting the help, he's building the relationships, he's doing all the things that he wants to do. And also really at the end of it, he was even talking about dating, and it was just like, wow. And again, that doesn't mean like, at the end of the documentary that, it's everything is solved, but you can see like he has his battles with his mind. He had his battles with drinking, like he even talked about drinking there on the series as well. And just to see the process, him going from A, and you seeing the arc, and you see him where at least where he wants to go, where he's even talking about so much so coming out of himself that he's talking about dating. And it's just like, you go, Daryl. And I think somewhere it shows that he also had built a bench outside of his house as well. People could come and sit. And it's just like, it is such talk about the impact that the Invictus Games has had on these people. It is absolutely amazing. And I just, I'm going to put the link to the interview in our show notes, so you can at least watch it. But it's just really, really amazing to see. And if you have not watched the docu-series, definitely watch it, because you see a real person. He's not like, oh my gosh, now I'm fixed. No, you see a real person going through struggle, and in the moment, this is how I'm feeling, this is what I'm thinking, I'm struggling with drinking, you know what I mean? It's just so real and so raw. And for me, it's just like, yep, it's just, I don't know, that just, it's really, Donna was like, Daryl was a piece of work. And that, it just, he was just real in himself. He was not pretending for anybody. And I appreciated that. So yeah. Who wants to arrest Church Nelly? Church Nelly, are we having issues because of moonshine? But yeah. So let's see. I'm just gonna stay in the chat for like a second. Donna Black says, I would have bought Daryl a bottle of vodka and told him to enjoy. Well, I mean, I don't, Daryl has a problem with drinking, especially it is dangerous, especially when you're going through this kind of trauma, because there is that chance of dependency on it, whether it's alcohol or some form of drug or whatever. Because alcohol is a drug as well. But so that may not have been that may not have been the best thing for Daryl. But I'm glad he spoke about it. I'm glad he was able to talk about it and be able to get help. And I'm sure he's still getting the help and still growing as a person. And again, with these things, it just, it's like sometimes it's one step forward, 5 back. 3 forward, 4 back. I mean, it's like it's back and forth, and you're constantly battling these things. And so, but kudos to him that he has not given up, that he's fighting through and he's working it through and he's being honest. So that's really, yeah. Terry says Daryl is smiling more and he doesn't look grumpy anymore. And yeah, when you're working through your issues, it's not pretty. And that's what I love about the series as well. It's not pretty. It is not for the faint of heart. And so some people are like, oh my gosh, look at the series. Is not, it didn't do as well as the Harry and Meghan docuseries. It's not a big hit. And I was like, no, of course it's not, because it is real and raw. And not that, I'm not saying the Harry and Meghan documentary is real. It's a different kind of real. It's people just like, are in the throes of trauma and just being, and you're dealing with a specific kind that a lot of people don't like to deal with this kind of thing, because it's kind of like watching therapy right in front of you, and a lot of people don't, because again, they might be going through the same thing, and a lot of people don't like to deal with how they're feeling, and this was right there in your face. So while some people may go to the Sussexes because they want the love story, they want the history, there is there also is real stuff that Harry and Meghan talking about. It's just a different type of thing. So more people would gravitate to that. It's easier in the sense of it's not as blah as this. So yeah. But yeah, Daryl is, yeah. I mean, yeah. Let's see. What else do I have there? Hang on. What else I got? Oh, well, King Charles has been in France. I mean, I don't know. I'm assuming he's back from France now. I don't remember. I thought it was like 2 or 3 days in France. So it might be over now. I don't remember. I'm assuming it's over because it's the weekend. I don't see them in France during a week. I don't know. Maybe that's how I'm thinking. But anyway, while they were away playing in France, the Republic group decided, like, well, while the king is away, let's go play. And they went to play right in Buckingham Palace. And so if you hadn't seen this, they posted this yesterday at inside Buckingham Palace with their Not My King t-shirts on. And of course, after a while, I guess the guards at Buckingham Palace sort of dragged them out. But I thought it was very impressive of them. They went in there and it was only like 6, 7 of them. But again, to start a revolution, you need one person, And so they went in, and of course they got a little international coverage, because I see at the bottom there that CNN picked it up. And so it's so funny. I saw that and I could only imagine King Charles's face, when he realizes that he is in France doing whatever he's doing in France. In Buckingham Palace, people broke in with Not My King. And so the National I think this is a Scottish news outlet. Of course, the regular mainstream press in the UK most likely will not carry this because, I mean, it doesn't make Buckingham Palace look very good to have people go in there and they have big "Not My King" on at Buckingham Palace. But it says anti-monarchy campaigners staged a protest inside Buckingham Palace. Just after midday on Saturday, yesterday, members of the Republic, a campaign group calling for the UK to get rid of the monarchy and replace the royal family with an elected head of state, staged a protest inside the Grand Hall of Buckingham Palace. Activists from different parts of the UK visited the palace as tourists before unveiling T-shirts which spells out "Not My King." Now, T guy over there, you should have moved a little closer to the O guy, but I'm just being a little critique of their position standing there. 6 of the activists involved were briefly detained by security before being escorted from out the front gate. Charles is, and this is our Republic group's, the head of the Republic group, Graham Smith. He said about Charles, that Charles is not untouchable. Is not an untouchable monarch. He is not immune to criticism and doesn't enjoy the deference that protected the monarchy while his mother was on the throne. Charles is not a unifying figure. He is a hypocrite on environment. He has questions to answer about cash for honors and dodgy donations from Qataris, and he is out of touch with the concerns of ordinary people struggling with cost of living crisis. Now, I don't always, I am not always here for Graham Smith, but I cannot disagree with anything he says. Everything he has said is the truth. And so I cannot disagree with that. And so I got to give, and I've, sometimes had my issues even with the Republic group. But, kudos for them going in there and staging it. And so sometimes they do behave like one of those, controlled opposition thing, which is what I called them out for that a while ago. But I mean, I can't argue with this. I mean, I can't argue with envy says, and I can't argue with them going in there and staging it. If nothing else, it embarrasses the monarchy, and you know how they feel about being embarrassed. So kudos for them, kudos for them. So Donna says, how rude is Charles to insult a host country about the food served to him? Are you kidding me? He insulted them? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Leave it to the British to go into another country and humiliate themselves. But I had no idea. And he said she saw it on CNN, Not My King. Brilliant. See, good for them. CNN, they got some, international coverage. So good. So, I don't know how large this group is. They said they have chapters all over the place. Who knows? I don't know how large it is. And obviously, we know when for the coronation, they were sort of carted off to a section where the golden carriage, wasn't even traveling. And then they arrested one of the people, including Graham, got arrested for no reason. They were doing nothing, and they, confiscated their signs. And I mean, the police was doing crazy stuff in the name of Charles. And so the Republic group are still doing their thing. So, I mean, I have no problem with anything. They're good. So good for them. So yeah. What else is happening? This one. I think it was the last episode, we talked at length about blackfacing, where the Daily Mail using white reporters to write racist articles, and then paying black reporters, black gatekeeping, those black reporters that gatekeep white supremacy, paying them money to put their face and their names on these articles. One of those people is her, Dominique Samuels. And so Dominique, like Nana, used to work for GB News. And the last episode, I wasn't sure if she was still there. I hadn't seen a picture recently of her because they used to be, she used to be on Twitter and sprouting stuff, I guess, that she was to be talking about on GB News. And so I wasn't sure if she was still there or not. And so one of the things, so in looking it up, I ran into this tweet of this girl. Her name is Jordan Tidelsley, and she tweeted. She says, I was outraged by Dominique Samuels' revelation and of being asked to be the face of a ghost-written negative version on racist piece. So I looked into it further, but and so she's pointing to the article by me for Private Eye. So she is one of the reporters with Private Eye who expose, and so that we know for sure that these articles, these white writers, and last episode we I showed the three prominent ones at the Daily Mail who've been writing, 60, 70-year-old guys writing these articles, and then Daily Mail paying black reporters to put their face on. So she's the one that wrote that article that we looked at from Private Eye last time. And I don't know what her, she doesn't seem like a black girl. She seemed like a white girl. But kudos to her. Thank you for going and investigating it further. At the moment she looks like an ally. So kudos for her. Going in and really digging in and really finding the truth and exposing the truth for what the Daily Mail, and I'm assuming not just the Daily Mail. I'm assuming that other news outlets are doing it, and that's why the British press has pressed mute on this. But again, this is another story that they've pressed mute on. None of them are reporting it. And not only them, prominent black people who are on Twitter, and they're on there all the time, have all been mute about it. And so, which, again, I am like looking at side eye at those reporters. I'm like, I know y'all know this story. I know you know this is happening. Why aren't you speaking out about this? Even white reporters are saying this should be front page news. Why aren't you speaking up about it? Have you engaged in this behavior? So I'm like side-eyeing a lot of them. I'm not going to name names, but whatever. And so Dominique, obviously, is the one who confirmed that, yes, she was offered to write racist articles. She's accepted some. Yes, we know the one with Meghan. She accepted money for it. And if Brian, whatever his name is, that right for Byline Investigates is correct, he said back in I think 2019 or whatever it was, the Daily Mail was actually offering people like $1,500 to put their face on and name on articles. He didn't specifically say that it was black reporters, but this was the story that he was commenting on, and he said back then they were offering $1,500. So I wonder how much they're offering now. And so you at least have a starting point of where and how much the Daily Mail would be paying these reporters to basically put their face and name of racist articles they didn't write. So it's got to be $1,500 and more. And the Private Eye article, one of the things it specifically said it talks about how the amount of money they're making, that was really good. And that is one of the things they know. They offer them money, they'll do it. They'll sell themselves and their people out. But in terms of Danielle, in terms of Dominique, I wasn't sure what was her deal. And apparently she is I didn't realize how young she was. I had no idea. When she was she was on Google GB News a couple of years ago. I guess it's probably 2 years now. She was like a 19, 20-year-old. I thought, and she came across like so much older. I could have sworn she was probably 29, 30 years old. That's how she presented herself. And that's how she came across, like this right-wing, this really staunch Candace Owen right-wing person on GB News. And she said that, a lot of people compared her to Candace Owen. And so apparently she has had her come to Jesus moment, except not come to Jesus. She's come to now Hare Krishna, and she's with that group, and she said that she's found a lot of peace, and she has now completely turned her life around. And so she said, she realized that, even though, she had a set of beliefs that, she believed in college, and now, and as she grew into later teens and early 20s, those beliefs were so solidified, and she believed in Brexit and all of that stuff. And then all of a sudden she got on, she got opportunity that she always wanted to be on TV. And then, all of a sudden she had all these followers on Twitter, and she's on a TV show and all of this stuff. And she had all these fans, and, she had these beliefs that she was spouting and all of that stuff. But there came a time when she's like, she started doubting when she, what she believed, and she started doubting the reasons why the news channel she was on was putting on those things, because it presented as no, these, what she was saying was really negative, but in her mind, no, this was going to bring good in the world. But then as she kept going along, she started realizing the motive behind why the people, again, she was at GB News, the motive why they were doing the things, and they had a narrative that they were. One, it was having a negative effect, and she started doubting their motives. Like, no, this is more about stirring up culture wars and stuff like that. And so she got so, she's like, I don't want to do this anymore, because it wasn't, she went into it thinking and do for one reason, and what she was involved in at GB News, because that's where she was something that she basically said was basically killing her soul. And so eventually she's like, I can't do this anymore. And, for a while, she felt like she had to do it because she had all these fans, who believed what she was saying, and she felt she had to go along. And then, after a while, it's like, no. And so she decided to apparently quit GB News. And this is what she says about GB News, and I brought it up. She says, the death of the old me, I eventually left in London. She left London. She moved, I think, back home to Manchester. And she says, although I genuinely enjoyed it at some point, I had to return to familiarity to figure out what I wanted, and away from the people I felt were superficial and didn't have my best interest at heart. I moved back to Manchester, ignored media appearance requests, and didn't really care that my GB News appearances were drying up after I decided I no longer wanted to do Dan Wootton's 9 p.m. show. And so this is very interesting to me, because that's a show. She was on that show a lot. And I am like, she didn't go into why that was. But I would be very interested to know what happened with the Dan Wootton show, apart from all the crazy narrative and the lying and, corrupt that narrative of Dan Wootton. Why specifically she decided she did not want to go on Dan Wootton's show anymore. And so it's very interesting. Again, she was one of the people, and she acknowledged that, yes, I was one of the people, and I did take money and put my name on articles that I didn't write. She's very open and honest. I mean, whether you agree with her or not, and the transformation that she's, she left, she went on vacation to the Netherlands. On her way back, hooked up with this Hare Krishna group, stayed there in Netherlands, had this come to Hare Krishna moment where, she got out all the stuff that was in her that, and again, this is someone who's very young. She was suffering from depression and all of these things that were happening to her. And she was, really dealing with as a young person on her own. She was able, she said, to, it was like a psychedelic, using like a psychedelic plants. It's kind of Harry mentioned those in as well in Spare, but and that helped her to have clarity. And now she says she's very happy away from that, and she basically put who she is out there. She's like, I don't care if you judge me, don't judge me, whatever. This is who I am. And she seems genuine. Again, these are influencers, so I always proceed with care, with the people completely transforming themselves because they know that a narrative is changing and they want to get ahead of the game. That could be this as well. We've seen what's his name, that guy who ran for senator in Atlanta recently, his son Christian somebody, I don't remember, Herschel Walker, his son, Christian Walker, was this right-wing, just like her, behaved just like her online. And all of a sudden he had his come to Jesus moment. And all of a sudden he's no longer right-wing, and he's, changes. So again, this could be the same thing. I don't know. But, she seemed to have changed her life. And I mean, I wish her well, but it's very interesting to me, especially I got interested when she talked about not wanting to go on the Dan Wootton show. And so it'll be very interesting to me as to what really happened with that and why, why did she really not want to go on his show. So very interesting. And so I'll put a link to her thing there. If you want to read it, definitely go ahead. At least you'll get to know, if nothing else, you'll get to know her a little bit more about who, but again, what they did with that, I mean, there is just no, I mean, it's just like, there is just no excuse for selling out and taking money to put your face on racist articles that destroy your community. And again, they've been doing this stuff for a long time. Anyway, moving on. Suits, as we know, 10th week. It's been number one for so long. It's just a given. Suits is going to be number one. But this is one of the things that I was hoping that it wasn't happening, and unfortunately, it is. I know WGA and SAG, which is the Writers Guild and also the Screen Actors Guild, they're both on strike, and together, and they're striking. And so it turns out WGA, they seem to have now, they're working through a contract. I think their lawyers are on it now, that their strike might be ending if if this contract is accepted, if it's okay. Again, the lawyers are on it right now. So by tomorrow, we might hear that the WGA has ended their strike. SAG, however, I don't know what's going on with that. So Discuss Films is saying Suits is the most watched series over the past 10 weeks, drawing over 30 billion minutes viewed. However, Netflix's refusal to make it a fair deal with writers and actors mean those involved with the series receive little to no residual. And support writers today by sharing WGA strong. And again, this is the thing I was afraid of, and I'm not shocked, only because the actors have not been they have not been advertising this. They have not been talking about it, because again, they're making nothing out of it. So it's what I was afraid that was happening. I was hoping against hope that it wasn't, but yeah, Netflix and other streaming outlets, they are not budging. Disney is the one of them, and they're not budging. And so who knows where and how long that this strike is going to go on. It's just really, I'm like, how much money has this, Netflix made off of them, and they still refuse to do the right thing? And it just, and I'm like, I wanted to binge it, but I'm like, but I don't want to binge it, but I really want to, but I don't really I want to support the actors, and it's just, oh. So anyways, yeah. Oh, going back to, she's like, yeah, we already know her pedo. She's a sellout. Yeah. Unfortunately, she is. So yeah, Dominique and Nana and those guys, they have a lot to pay for. They really have a lot to pay for. And I don't know that Nana has, ever apologized. I mean, I don't think she ever has or ever will. They'll just, they'll just dig in, because the arrogance is there, they never will. So yeah. Yes, the Church Nelly, 30 billion minutes viewed. Yes. I mean, it's been the show of the summer. We've been calling it the whole time. We're like, this is going to be the show of the summer. And it's been, I mean, here we are into September, the end of September, and it's still number one. And it's doing, like, the numbers are, I think, twice as good as the next show behind it. And so this is, I mean, again, show that's been there 10 years ago, and there it is. New shows coming up, and they cannot, they cannot match Suits. It's amazing. Donna Black says, the guy that plays Harvey's brother died about 2 weeks ago. He was only 43, and it's speculated he deleted himself, but I hope it's not true. Yeah, it's so funny, because I had this conversation. I had mentioned it before. I wasn't sure, because it was broadcast that he was going through a really hard time with depression. But they didn't say that, why. And people were saying the different things that, that may have taken his life. And his mom, put out a statement, and while she didn't specifically say why, from her statement, that's what it comes across as. And she didn't specifically say this is what happened, but from the statement that's attributed to her, that's how it came across. So again, I don't know for 100%, but he was really, from her statement, she said he did everything in his power to try to overcome and to battle his depression, to battle it, and he did everything. And in the end, she said the depression won. And so from the statement attributed to her, this is what she said. And so that's what I get from it. So, and again, she didn't spell it out, and it's sad that she had to say, because people were speculating and speculating, and she finally had to say, no, it wasn't something else. This, and she apparently has been very open with the battle and to help others. And so she's like, yeah, he did everything to win, but in the end, the depression won. So there we are. It was a very, very sad situation. So yeah. Terry says, you all know Jessica Maroney played Louis Litt's sister on Suits. Are you serious? I had no idea. I'm assuming this is one of the later episodes. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen Jessica in it, or maybe I wasn't paying attention. I have no idea. I had no idea she was in Suits. That's awesome. Oh, that's great. I haven't really paid attention to Jessica in a while, so I don't really know what's up with her. But I'm assuming she's okay. So there you go. Maverick says, Pedal, Netflix can't give more money for streaming the show. The owners have to pay the residuals. Well, I'm assuming they get stuff from NBC. But if you're streaming someone's show and you're making money, yes, you have to pay to you have to pay for the rights to stream the show. But then you get money. Some of that money should be going to the actors, and I don't think that's it is unfair for you to be making money off of someone's work and they get nothing out of it. So, and that's part of why they are that's why they're striking, because these streaming services like Netflix, etc., are making a mint off of their work and their creativity. So anyone streaming it should pay for it and pay the people, the creators of this work. It is unfair that Netflix, so they are making billions off of them, and the actors who put the work together is making nothing from them streaming it. That should have been in the package. That's not there. And so that's why they're on strike. That should have been when they were given the rights to stream. They have these rights for 2 years to stream this. That should have been a part of the deal, where you're going to stream this. You're using people's work that they spent 10 years and over to create. You have to pay them. That's part of the deal. So yeah. And it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate because, until somebody, I don't know. I don't know how long the strike is going to go on, how long the actors are, and how long SAG's going to hold out for, but we'll see. Hopefully they come to the table, because again, the people who are not paying the actors the least, and just with Hollywood, it's a lot of times people think, oh my gosh, these celebrities they see them in front of the camera, they're on the red carpet, they're they're in lights and all that stuff. They're the lowest on the totem pole when it comes to people making money in Hollywood and money and power in Hollywood. The people who are actually making money are the ones you never see. The reason actors are on the red carpet is like, oh, okay, I'm not going to give you the big bucks. Very few of them get the big bucks. The ones on there, usually ones don't have it. We'll give you the fame, and we'll give you the attention, and we'll give you the red carpet, but not really give you the money. The ones that are not on the carpet are the ones that have the money, So it's like the actors are the ones who have given their life to create the stuff, and are the ones that are making least. You have somebody like Bob Iger, who is, at his rant somewhere where he took a private jet to, claiming that the actors are unreasonable for demanding more money. That's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous when you are making money and you got your, billions of dollars that you get all the time off the backs of these people. It's unfair, So, and again, a lot of the actors, they have homes and all of that stuff to pay for. And here we are, they're on strike. A lot of them are like, so it's just unfair in a work situation. If you are using someone's stuff, then you should pay for it. So it's one of those things. So let's see. A little bit more about residuals. Madwell says that there's a lot of unions striking across the US, and I'm here for it. I am too. I am absolutely here too. For it too, because when you have not even managers, because they are low, but you have these whether it's owners or CEOs and stuff making millions and millions of dollars, and then the people below them basically are sharing peanuts, then there's a problem with that. There's a huge problem. And it's good to see people rising up and be like, you know what? We're not taking this anymore. You either pay us or we're leaving. And more people are leaving since, we come back from COVID. More and more people are realizing like, okay, no, I don't want to be doing that. So yeah. We'll see what happens. Lady T says, but is residual something that is negotiated in their contract? Just asking. Originally, yeah, with for example, NBC, or who, if they're putting it on other platforms, for example, cable platforms, that was negotiated. Streaming came in later in the game. And so you would have thought that part of it, but again, the actors don't own the work, that is owned by NBC. And so they decide what kind of a deal they're going to have with, say, Netflix. And part of that is, I guess, they didn't think of the actors. Netflix was able to get the deal and stream it. And the actors are now like, excuse us, what about the people who actually created this, And so you have this, again, the CEOs making all these money off of their backs and off of their work, and they make nothing. So yeah, it's not fair. Rafaela, let's see. Anything more about that before we move on? We can move on. Let's see. Thank you, Lady T, for your comment. And then, oh my goodness, again, these stories are so amazing. More impact from the Invictus games. This, oh my goodness, this is absolutely again, the power of the games to change people's lives. I remember Harry talking about at The Hague, one of the things that they were, I guess they were doing like this survey at The Hague, and one of the things that came back all the times that a lot of people were saying that were it not for the games, they wouldn't be here. And so it's amazing. And, I am so happy that Harry spoke about the things he spoke about in especially both the closing and opening ceremony, because I could only imagine Leland Miller, he is from Team Canada. And I could only imagine what he was thinking of when he heard those things. And this is a little bit about Leland's story. He says, Leland Muller can see Leland Muller can see the light for the first time since his life took a darker turn than he ever thought possible. For 5 years, Muller, 29, sat listlessly in his wheelchair, searching for answers to the problem that he has dealt with after a toboggan accident on his birthday in February 19, 2018, left him paralyzed below the chest. Very deep, dark depression, said Muller, who grew up in Winnipeg. A lot of people think they've hit rock bottom, but I can tell you, I think rock bottom goes a little bit deeper than what people think. Perhaps the biggest weight dragging Muller down was his career as a vehicle technician for the Canadian Army. Perhaps one of the biggest things, the weight dragging Muller down, was his career as a vehicle technician for the Canadian Army, that it was over. He was officially released from duty in September 2022 after 8 years of service. I felt like there was no going on. I didn't want to live anymore. I was a very active person, very involved in sports, and loved to do a variety of sports, rock climbing and all these different activities. And having it all taken away from me not being able to really be the person I wanted to be, I felt I was trapped inside my body, and I wasn't able to and I wasn't able to really just be myself. And just a little bit, as what it says on the street, it says, things took a turn for the better earlier this month when Mueller visited Dusseldorf, Germany, for the Invictus Games, a global multidisciplinary event for sick and wounded servicemen and women and veterans. While some left with medals, Mueller left with while some left with medals, I can't read. Mueller, who competed in hand cycling, wheelchair basketball, and discus, left with a new outlook on life. I was in a very dark place after my injury. I was very lost. I was struggling to rediscover who I was without the uniform. And when this opportunity arose, I was looking to I was looking to meet other people from other parts of the world and learn from their experience and how they overcame tragedy in their lives and how they were able to continue pushing forward despite experiences they have encountered, he said. I can't tell you how incredible some of the stories of the people I've met and what they have overcome. It's really inspiring to know that my experience isn't unique and there are other people who are going through similar experiences, and that I'm not alone, and that I can continue to live my life to the fullest despite my injuries. And the article goes on to say, as for Mueller, he said he feels as though he has been given a new lease in life, and has begun uncovering a new identity, one that's separate from corporate Mueller. And so I love this story. And especially, Harry talked about the uniform and how so many people have they identify who they are is identified with their military uniform and their badges and all of those things. And that's why for me it's like when Harry talked about at the end, it's like who they are, that they no longer have to rely on their uniform to inform them of who they are, that who they are, that person, the fighter, the strong person who's willing to go forward no matter what, is in them and it's not in the uniform. And I could only imagine him, as he was saying, he was struggling to discover who he was without this uniform, without being corporate Mueller, and all of Corporal Mueller, and all of a sudden, discovering what he discovered in Dusseldorf. And I was just like, I read that and I was like, oh my goodness, I could only imagine, how important that message from Harry, that who he is so much greater than a uniform. That it's not about the uniform, it's who he is as a person. And I'm just like, oh, I was so happy to read that. I was like, you go, Harry, and you go, Leland Mueller. And I love reading these stories about, how their lives are transformed, or at least even nothing better. He talks about having a new lease in life, and I was just like, look at the smile on this person who was thinking of, he didn't want to go on anymore. He wanted to end it. And it's like, look at this smile. And it's just like, and I know it's a picture, but it's just, oh. Rafaela says, hi, Rafaela. Rafaela says, bravo, HRH, Prince Harry, magnificent job. Hooray for Invictus Game. Hooray indeed. Hooray indeed. Church Nelly says, Harry has done a fabulous job with Invictus Games. I'm telling you, so incredible. Lydia says, Helen had me in tears, 63 souls. Yes. Officer Gendron with the bagpipes. Oh my goodness. How many times have you guys watched that video? I countless amount of times, and every time I see that video, I have the same reaction. It's like you can't help. You cannot help. It's amazing what and how powerful Invictus was. And just hearing those speeches, it kind of gives you goosebumps. Like I was, hearing, I was watching the speech also by the president of Germany. I was like, oh my goodness, this is so powerful, and to see the results and how many people's lives are being changed because of it, it is absolutely amazing. Anne says they should have a similar program that's seen with veterans or ordinary citizens. I'm sorry, for ordinary citizens, as disabilities do not distinguish PTSD and mental health that do not get sufficient fundings, young people, etc. I think I understand in bits and pieces of what you're saying, and they do have programs. I mean, I don't know how. I should say, I don't know if it's as involved as the Invictus games. So, but I do agree, if it's not, then it should be, because Invictus, the model that Invictus has is working, and they have so many different organizations that donate or invest their time, services, or, like, for example, Better Up, who not only donate their time but their resources, their coaching, all of that stuff they've given to them. And Harry actually hosted a Better Up, one of those little conferences at the games. He hosted one, and Better Up tweeted about it, thanking him for hosting the Better Up event at the games. And they even have, like, this company that does the computer games and stuff like that. They come in because stuff like that helps help the soldiers. And they have so many different organizations come in, and on top of that, they do stuff with veterans all during the year. It's not just the games. They do, I mean, whether it's biking, hiking, skiing, whatever it is, all of these sports all through, and we talk about them here all the time, all the different things that Invictus games do with the athletes, so that it's year-round stuff going with the games. So yeah, there definitely should be more organizations being that involved with the lives of the people. So yeah, and it's great to see different vets on Twitter, really calling out to other people, other vets, like, look, if you haven't heard about the games, come and join. I mean, it's great to see that they're getting help, and they're also encouraging other vets to come on too. So it is really wonderful. And he says, Prince Harry put those royals in their place when he mentioned the uniform. Oh, that too. That too. I wonder what it would be like when they decide to put on their costume jewelry and costume medals and stuff like that again. It's just like, it's ridiculous. And so yeah, you go, Harry, kill two birds with one stone there. So no, I don't know why do we say that? Like, why do we want to kill two birds with a stone? I don't understand those things, but you get the point. PBJ, Bright Eyes PBJ says, yes, they have Paralympics. They do. I don't know. And again, I don't know enough about Paralympics to know how involved they are, like, yearly with the lives of the people who do it. But I do know that Invictus Games support Paralympics. They have done stuff with them before. And also they have been supporting the Invictus Games, and they've been tweeting about it and talking about it the whole time. If you there, for example, if you're at the Wounded Warrior Games, then you can qualify. I think you can qualify for the Invictus Games as well. It's a different set of qualifications for the Paralympic Games. So, but some of the people are still going to, some of the people from Invictus Games are still going to go to try to get qualified for the Paralympic Games. So we will see. We will see. Let's see. Donna Black says they are really working, Maverick, they're really working for the better of humanity. Whatever Maverick says, yes, yes, yes. Whether it's Invictus Games or just Harry and Meghan, yes, 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 yes to all of it. Let's see. What do you mean, Leslie? Leslie said, most people haven't realized that during the opening ceremonies, the mayor of Dusseldorf, I'm assuming. Oh, wait a minute. Let's see. Mayor of Dusseldorf, Germany, called Harry Sir after introducing him. Most people didn't, oh goodness, I didn't catch it either. Oh wow, I didn't catch that either. It's so funny. Again, when people, you see this on Twitter where people don't realize, it seems a lot of people, because the British press have been so nasty and condescending, that people have the, at least royalists, have the impression that that Harry's stature has somehow, because they've been attacking Harry, that they have been successful in bringing down Harry's stature. And so they're, deranged, and all of these crazy people seem to have that belief. And then you come up on something like this and you're like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, Harry is and look at the, not reverence, but look at the respect of this. And I have to go back and watch it. I didn't even catch it, so thank you, Leslie, for pointing it out. But but I just saw, like, just the respect that they have for Harry. I mean, the president, or even at the Hague, you see the king there, and the president there, and all of the respect that they have for Harry has not diminished. The respect Harry has among leaders of, he has relationship with leaders around the world, that has not diminished in any way, and nor has he lost his HRH. He still has the title. So that gives him privileges that regular folks don't have. And I think a lot of people miss that, because they're of the impression, because the British press is attacking, somehow Harry's stature has diminished. And it hasn't. And if anything else, it has gone up. So yeah, unbelievable. But I am not surprised, but I will go back. Thank you, Leslie, for pointing that out. Lottie, bagpipes was so sad. Yeah, that story, man. That story is oof. Karen is here. Hi, Karen. Karen says, hey, Battle. I'm glad people are now starting to understand what the Invictus Games is about and the support it offers. I have been trying to explain and stress this. This is why it is so important. Yeah, I mean, and I'm glad you said this, Karen. I think more and more people slowly are beginning to understand that this is not just like the Olympics. You go and you get medals and it's wonderful and you have sweet stories on NBC or whatever. No, this is literally people, thinking of taking themselves out, are being transformed. Not just, I won a medal, but mentally, they're physically, mentally, their whole outlook in life changes because of, their involvement, because of the, the help and the care they get with the Invictus Games. But even, without the games, again, they do a whole lot of stuff with vets all around the world that is not the games. The games is every 2 years. They do a year-round things with vets. And so, yeah, it's just, I mean, this is so important. And thank you, Karen. People are finally starting to understand. And thank you for trying to explain it to others who don't get it. When you see someone in front of you that, JJ, one of Harry's BFF, talks about it all the time. He's like, I would not be alive today had it not been for the Invictus Games, had it not been for Prince Harry. He talks about it all the time. He would not be here. He would have taken himself out, and look at JJ now, on television. He's doing all this stuff, working with Invictus. I mean, hello. JJ is so successful doing his stuff and has a whole new lease on life because of his experience with the games and his friendship with Prince Harry. And it's been amazing. So it's wonderful to see JJ. And again, this is a man with a wife and kids. Imagine, where he was, so, Giftla says Prince Harry deserves a Nobel Peace Prize because he has done an exceptional job with the Invictus Games. I second, third, fourth, fifth, that I'm my hands in the air and everything. I mean, we have been advocating this since The Hague last year. There was this article that came out and we did it on this podcast that advocated for him as well. Him and the person who started the Paralympic Games. So for me, if both of them win it, sure. But I think Harry definitely. I mean, that the Invictus last year was the first event like that since after coming out of COVID. and it's like, yeah, I totally believe Prince Harry, and if he shares it with the guy from, or a woman or whomever did the Paralympics, I think it was a guy, if I remember clearly, did the Paralympics, fine. They're both helping people and they're both doing an incredible job of changing people's lives. And I'm like, Prince Harry should be there. So they apparently they're going to be making announcements starting sometime in October for the Nobel Prize. And I'm hoping Prince Harry is there. We've been advocating for this since The Hague. And more I see people talking about it. So yes, gift love. He deserves it. So yeah. Rafaela agrees. Yes. Colette says, raise your hands if you're going to the next Invictus Games. I'm going to volunteer. Yes, my hands are raised, Colette. And I'm assuming many squaddies who are in the US and obviously Canada will be attending that one because it's right here. And those of us who didn't get to go to Dusseldorf will be going there. So yes. Donna Black says, Prince Harry has lost nothing from stepping back, but the trolls are too stupid to realize the truth. He's always stressed. He's always addressed as sir every time he's in the UK and saluted because he holds rank. Yeah, it's so funny you said that with he's always addressed as sir, because I remember when Harry went to the UK for the court case and nobody knew he was coming, and all of a sudden Harry got out of a black cab and he was walking to the courthouse, and they were addressing him as sir. The photographers, when Harry was going down into, like, he was leaving the car, and whenever he either going to the court or leaving the courthouse, the people on hand, like the photographers and people, they were addressing him as sir. And so it's so funny that people miss that, and you're online and in your basement and think you can dress people down and think, oh, because I'm saying nasty things about her, that means somebody loses their power. Think again. Prince Harry he's an HRH. He is, even if Harry did not have any of those titles, addressing him with that respect, he deserves it. For what this man has done, he deserves any honor. So that's my take on that one. Let's see. Let's see. More. Oh, so you're back home. Karen is back home. She's like, woo, I'm back home. Got in today. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm so honored that you just got in and you're here. So Karen was gallivanting in Dubai. So Karen, you must let us know how your trip in Dubai was. And what a gallivanting person in Dubai does, Karen is a world traveler and also Duchess of Success, who is always traveling around somewhere. And I'm telling you, I just hats off to you both, man. I love it. Let's see. That's okay, Teresa. I'm happy you're here. Replay is always there. Let's see, a couple more things before we're done. Let's see what else I got. Fundraiser, guys. This is amazing. It ends in 5 days. I got this today. Because I hadn't gone in there in a while. The fundraiser, we are at $63,019. So thank you all so much for donating. Again, if you still want to participate, 5 days left till the end of the month, and that is amazing. I'm in awe, of what squaddies have done. It just incredible generosity. So thank you again. I know Lydia had posted a link earlier. The link is in the show notes of this. It will be at the end of the day. It will be here. Lydia just posted it again, so you can definitely get it off Lydia, or you can get it from the show notes of the video. That's fine too. You can get it there. But thank you everyone who has participated in this. Thank you all so much. And oh my goodness, I just love this story. As we know, this is our former president, Jimmy Carter. And Jimmy Carter was supposedly on his death door. And he was put into hospice care for the end of life care. And this has been a while. And it's so funny. The other day, I was like, I wonder what happened to President Carter. I hadn't heard anything. Even his grandson had come on Twitter saying, the end is near. It's only a little bit longer. He had gone and seen him, and the end is near. And then we got this. Former President Jimmy Carter has stunned doctors and family members by thriving 7 months after entering hospice care, and is looking forward to his 99th birthday in just over a week. Maybe it's the peanut butter ice cream he still enjoys, or the fact that his first place Atlanta Braves are cruising towards the playoff and he wants to see another World Series, or, as many of his loved ones and former advisors suggest, maybe he is just too stubborn to follow anybody else's timetable. While nearly everyone, including family, assumed the end was imminent when he gave up full-scale medical care last winter, the farmer turned president has once again defied expectations. We thought at the beginning of the process that it was going to be in 5 days or so. Jason Carter, his grandson, the same one who posted on Twitter. I was down there with him in the hospital and then said goodbye. And then we thought it was going to be it was going to be in that week that it was coming to the end. And it's just now been 7 months. Relatives say President Carter is aware of the outpouring of love and support he has received and is deeply grateful. Here's to you, President Carter. We wish you a wonderful birthday coming up. May you always defy expectations. And I love this story. Hey, look, I am rooting for the ice cream and peanut butter. I am totally rooting for that. Because, as much as I know, and I don't know a whole lot about him, but what I know about him, he's a really cool guy. I know that, after he left office, he was doing a lot of work with building homes for the less fortunate and stuff. Like, he is down to what, really late in his life, he had been doing that into his 90s. And there was this story one time where I think he fell down or something and cracked his head or something, and I guess he had to go to the hospital, and then here he was back at work building houses with a big bandage on his head. And it was just like, he has been doing so much growth. I think it was Habitat for Humanity that he was with, or one of those organizations that build homes for needy people. And it's just, as far as I know, he's an amazing, amazing man. And so I just absolutely love it. I absolutely love his peanut butter ice cream. And I was like, you go on and you eat that peanut butter ice cream. You enjoy your peanut butter ice cream. And if that's keeping you alive, kudos to the peanut butter ice cream. I just love it. Talk about defying expectations. And I do hope that he gets to his 99th birthday. I really hope so. And again, he's in hospice care and his whole family was expecting a few days. And the man was like, well, I'm not ready to go. I'm not on your timetable. So you go. I love it. I love that fighting spirit. Maverick like, President Carter is another one of God's real warriors for justice. I'm telling you, we need more people like that. We really, really need more people like him who just are like, look, I love it here. I'm going to eat my ice cream and stay right here. I'm on God's time, not yours. See, Anne says, President was a humble guy beforehand. He entered the White House and continued in his faith for the people. God's blessings. Yeah, God's blessing to him. Simon says, we need people like him in the world. We sure do. We sure do. I'm like, yeah. Lottie says that goes to show man cannot put a timetable on anyone's life. Exactly. Because we can say like, oh yeah, but he's older, so then he should have this amount of time to live. And it's just like, look, no, you just stop listening to people and you're on God's time. God's going to decide. Cookies and Cream, an awesome moderator, says President Carter is good, decent, honorable man. Yeah, what I've ever heard about him, and again, I don't know much about him. I've never researched him, but the things that I've heard about him is that he is a good man. He is a really good man. Teresa says, President Carter is like the Energizer Bunny. I know. Eating his peanut butter ice cream. Yes, and watching the Braves. So there you go. I love it. I absolutely, absolutely love it. So kudos, President Carter. And you just stay right there and enjoy yourself. So, anyways, guys, that's it. That's what I got. Let's see. Yep, that's it. Hang on. Karen is like, I recommend we may go together and then I can ride a camel. Oh, in Dubai. Ooh, that must be very interesting. Very, very, very interesting riding a camel. Thank you, Karen. Terry says it's his strong faith that keeps him going. That as well. He's a man of faith. So definitely, definitely, definitely. So, anyways, guys, thank you so much. That's all I have. Thank you so much to our awesome moderators, Lydia, Church Nelly, Karen M, Cookies and Cream, Black Queen. Thank you all so much for taking care of our chat, making sure that it's nice and safe and fun. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, and thank you to all of you who support the chat, support the podcast. I always say chat, but support the podcast, 2 Cents Crew members, and also those of you who support in the chat, the Gold Star supporters. Thank you all so much for your incredible, incredible financial support. Could not do this without you. I appreciate it. So, anyways, guys, thank you so much for hanging with me in the last, oh goodness, hour and 45 minutes. Thank you all to all my favorite folks on who are here, may not be in the chat, but who are listening. I appreciate all of you, and I will chat with you mañana. See you all next time, or probably see you on Baron or Duchess of Success too when I jump over there. So, anyways, I love you guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye.